Oh my goodness, everybody. Welcome to Cinema Gulp's first ever House Off the Wagon episode. We are a YouTube House of the Dragon stream because you got two House of the Dragon fanatics here. Babak, of course, is much more of a Game of Thrones person, but I am Ben with Babak. Welcome to the first episode here on YouTube, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, especially one on Babak. And I personally am not a father because
I'm unable to have children. Nasty cheese grating accident as a young man.
Yeah, so that's, if anybody wonder why I'm not a father, my dick got chewed up by a cheese grater. So anyway, happy to see everybody. For those of you that are here, and I know this is sort of a, the episode just ended. But if you are someone that wants to watch the episode later, just watch the replay of this. That's what I suggest, because Babak and I are going to talk a few minutes about what we thought about the episode, and then we'll move into spoiler territory. And I couldn't wait to fucking watch it, so I'm hoping there's other people that were like, God, I've already watched it. I was chomping at the bit to see it. Holy shit! So Babak, episode 1, let's go. And I want to let you go first, man. Just general thoughts.
First of all, glad to be back off the wagon. I don't know if you can see my virtual drink here, but it's virtually in my tummy.
Cheers, man.
Cheers to you, brother. I am so happy to finally have some new Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, starting out with the Starks, going to Winterfell.
Dude,
I'm sorry. How much of this is spoiler? Like, I feel like I can't say
No, that's okay. That doesn't give away story, but that's the first thing I wrote to you. I was like, dude, you're going to watch the beginning of this.
Narrated by Kip Harington, right? I mean,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm going to try not to use the actors' names because I don't know anyone's names, but by Jon Snow telling, like who's he talking to? He's telling a story to someone. Like, now he's a storyteller. Like, what is he, like the old, like, now I'm going to be a Meister and tell you.
I was surprised. I was surprised that they did that. Anyway, keep going.
But because of the nostalgia effect of going back to a place that because that set of Winterfell there's so many episodes over the years that have been filmed there, and just hearing that familiar voice, it felt like home. And they brought back. I'm sorry, did they bring back the music in the opening? Because did they change the song for the first season? Because this was the classic, it starts out with the cello, and it just sounded familiar to me. And so I
think there was a slight difference in the original season. I think there was a slight difference.
But I mean,
that's one thing we can definitely talk about, has how you and I were so going like, are they going to change the entire intro of this? And they did.
And they totally did. And, they totally did. It was cool. But plot wise, I really like how you're just picking up right where it left off. So even though it's been how long has it been? 2 years, a year and a half, something like that, since season 1 ended or whatever.
It's supposed to be like the next. It's supposed to be like the next day.
Yeah. And it's a good thing they don't age the actors much, because it's been 2 years and they.
Oh yeah, because the younger son looks very fucking different. Yeah.
Some of the baby characters, like the little child characters, but the what's the knight of the commander of the Queen's Guard or the King's Guard or whatever, who never aged when they did the time progression.
We just keep calling him like Tristan or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Oh, that was his name, Tristan. Yeah. Sir.
They never change how he looks. They never change. How he looks.
Sir, I'm sorry, Sir Criston Cole. And so basically all they do is just sort of change the hairstyle a little bit to let you know that no, time has changed, because there's no wrinkling, nothing. I'm like,
no gray streaks, nothing.
No gray streaks, nothing. It's a good thing everyone dies at age 27 in this fucking series. They will never grow old.
The first thing I noticed towards the end of the opening credits sequence, which I thought was brilliant. I loved how they changed it, where now it's storytelling through like plot.
Right?
Well, and there's even like a scene in the episode where someone's knitting, and it almost feels like it's like a knitting thing, but they keep the blood there, which is cool. But I noticed the name Alan Taylor as the director. I was like, oh, I know that name. He actually directed For the Dark World in 2013, which, you know, say what you want about it, like that makes sense to direct something like this, you know,
where it is sort of a mysterious, dark, you know, especially
just like the era, the sword and sandals, for lack of a better term, like fantasy shit or whatever, you know. But Alan Taylor's a good director.
Great, yeah, and you know, HBO only has a very excellent stable of professionals in front of and behind the camera. You know, they have a very, very high standard of quality, and I love that. Side note, I was trying to think about, like, because I love history, I was trying to think of like a historical reference, like time period, you know, like when you describe Game of Thrones, at first I was like, it feels like it's kind of Renaissance, but then like the Renaissance doesn't go into the Middle Ages. So now I'm thinking, especially when I see the Scorpion, that dragon killing massive, like ballista style crossbow, which I think the Romans had something called the Scorpion. Oh, baby, these are all daddy's toys. Honey, we can't have her right here, please.
You know, that really...
Here comes Lily. Look out, baby. It's Father's Day. Come here. Come here,
that
sweetheart.
really reminds me of...
Hi, Lily.
Toys. Hi, Lily.
Say hi, again. Hi, Internet. You're going viral.
Sweetie. Oh, hi, baby girl. Hi, baby girl. Hi.
We got the whole
family. Oh, yeah, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to this guy, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I love you, bro. Yeah, but we can't have her in here right now. She's going to grab all this stuff.
Lily likes me. Lily likes me better when we're not in person. I can tell.
Well, she's had so much, you know, she was playing with the kids earlier today, and so she's already got over her initial social anxiety, you know. But I'm sorry for that interruption. But yeah, sorry, baby, it's bedtime. But anyway, so I was thinking that we're actually looking sort of at the Byzantine Empire, the late Eastern Greek Roman Empire, you know, like circa 400, where they're at a peak of technology and their peak of culture and science and civilization, and shit's going to go downhill for the next few hundred years into a dark age. And
well, and speaking of the crossbow kind of cannon that you brought up, that reminded me so much of what ends up killing Smaug. You know, because that little island town
over in Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, in the Hobbit, they have that thing that only certain people can like helm that, because they got such great shots. And it's like, I love that scene where I don't know how they didn't know that was Vagar right off the bat. It's fucking gigantic, you know.
There's only one Vagar.
Like, oh, don't worry, it's Vagar. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, but I love that
totally safe.
Well, I love that the start of the war is that now they all have these like defensive measures to their castles. Like they're like, anybody can just attack us with their dragons, no matter what they are. So we're going to have these like countermeasures to like make sure that
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool because it's the start of this war. Yeah,
it is. And you know, one of my favorite, the episode of Game of Thrones was the first one that I was like, bro, we have to watch this. They have that same the wagon train, you know, where the Lannisters have just conquered, you know, people. They got all their gold train going back. And then in comes the dragon and roasts everything. And what do they use? They use a scorpion and that's the first time you see it in Game of Thrones, seasons into the whole thing towards the end. And these like medieval people are just now like, oh, in the Chronicles, there's tales of some weapon like this. And now we're looking at the time when it's just common. Like, obviously you have scorpions up on your castle walls. Duh. You know, and like all this like, stuff is about to be forgotten, except for the 3 literate people in the village, you know? So it's like, we're at the peak and we're going to see everything. Well, you know, I mean, I don't really want to see it, but I do want to see it. Like, we're going to see the destruction of civilization, I think, maybe at the end of next season, you know, and it's going to put them back on the dark ages. Like, okay, we won, but at what cost? And I think that's what both these characters, the 2 queens, the battling queens, they're trying to avoid, because the instinct, the mother's instinct in them having both lost their children, at this point. And so like,
oh, you mean when this happened?
we can put that on loop. They don't, no one has to look it up. You know what I mean? And so they know personally the cost, even though they're highborn. And it's like, yeah, obviously the small people are going to get roasted and we'll be fine up in the keep. They're like, no, we're dragon riders. We're on the front line. And like, we're up there first. And, if someone dies, it's my baby. And so they're like, they don't want it. And are we getting into spoiler territory now?
Not yet. Okay. Not yet. We'll give general, like, did we like, or just like the first episode, and then we'll do spoilers.
But they've both lost people they love. And they loved each other as friends at the beginning of their lives.
Yeah,
and they're desperately to prevent this big war that we want to just like watch.
Are they though? Are they though? And we'll get into that. But Allison right now is much more of the villain. Much more of the villain.
Always has been playing the antagonist. And I'll say her only saving grace, because she's done some messed up things, is that in her mind she truly believes that her dying husband's last words to her were that I actually want your kids, our kids, to be the heir. And so she truly,
no, he never said that fully.
Even though he never said that, which obviously he didn't say that, and he wouldn't have said that, and he thought he was talking to his daughter, not his wife, and he was talking about something totally different. But she misinterpreted it because she wanted to hear that. And that's the thing. That's what she was waiting to hear. Yeah, she wanted to hear it, and she just interpreted it because she goes like, "I know what you mean," or something like that.
You know what King Veneris should have done when she walked in? You know what he should have said?
Bitches leave.
Yeah, buddy. So what are your first impressions of? But I love it, dude. What are your first impressions of the first
episode?
Yeah.
I loved the episode. A lot of it was what I knew was going to happen. There wasn't a lot of surprises to me because I kind of knew the character like beats. I knew were going to happen. I want Amon. Like, I want him. Like, he's mine. I want, like, when she says that, and then right off the bat, you get like Damon, who's just like, we need to kill fucking Vagar. 2 or 3 dragons will be good. And then that opening scene where the younger brother, who's now way too old to be the younger brother, the guy that died, when that's that opening scene, and I'm sure you have a lot to say about that because you've watched the other show, but that snow setting, I was like, oh, this is like the Game of Thrones shit right here. Like this, because you don't see that in House of the Dragon season 1, like the snow fucking shit and the wall and all that, So I thought it was like, it was so interesting because now it's like telling the story from a different perspective. And I was really kind of hoping they would do something like that. And they did. But to finish out my thought, before we go into spoilers, I kind of knew it was coming. I didn't know where it was going. And when Damon does what he does in the order that he puts out, yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we?
All I can say is cue the sound effects. Cue the sound effects.
Can we please get some competent henchmen who will like actually perform the task that they're assigned? That's all I'm asking for. Like, well, okay, we'll just keep it open to interpretation of what our evil orders were. Like,
I think he kind of knew. He kind of knew he was dealing with morons. Like,
But he told them specific, like he spelled it out for them, and then
they were Laurel and Hardy for sure.
Oh my god, yeah.
But that sound effect scene the sound effects in that scene is like,
that's when I like sound effects because I don't want to see that.
No, I don't want to see it. That's what drove me away from Game of Thrones in the first place. Was
Game of Thrones was hard to watch in a way that. I'm sorry, not Game of Thrones, but House of Dragons, actually, season 1 for me was hard to watch in a way that Game of Thrones wasn't, because like butchering dudes on a battlefield with your sword, everyone's like, yeah. but
Yeah.
like stuff they showed with like all the childbirth and the C-section and everything.
That was the shit.
One,
The childbirth stuff. Yeah, yeah.
oh, dude, you know, and just like the king. Well, I'm sorry. I'm always gonna say his name wrong.
Viserys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Viserys. Yeah, Viserys.
Yeah.
So you know, just what like his death scene started in episode 1 where he pricked his finger on the Iron Throne's like, and like that's his epic death scene. The whole season is his death scene up until where he's gone.
It is
the ultimate. You know what I mean? And so it's like those things were so much like strangely just so hard to watch because it wasn't a battle scene where like, oh, you hacked off the dude's limbs. That's amazing. But like when at the final dinner where Viserys is like, you know, takes off his mask and he's like, I want you to see who I am. You know, eye all gone, face all gone, and everyone's revulsed. And he's just like, I'm not as pretty as I used to be, but I'm still your dad and your grandpa, and I love you. And you have to be friends, please. You know, there's like my final, he put every ounce of his strength, you know, but just seeing all that stuff was so much harder to watch for me than like all the set piece battles. Like, I'm like, fuck yeah, watch the guy's face it. Oh, but like decaying slowly over time to someone who's not trying to fight anyone, is trying to be peaceful. It's like, oh, you know, or like a mom, you know, like becoming a mom and like, oh, you know, like it was just so hard to watch.
Well, his character in the story is specifically.
So that's why I appreciate the sound effects with the butchering thing, because I've seen too much of that already. I'm already like PTSD on it, you know. But no, Viserys, oh my god, the best thing of season 1. I mean,
well, his character in the story represents that last line of, here's somebody who is trying to look after the people, maintain the peace. And when he's gone, this is not a spoiler, it's in season 1. When he's gone, you know, as a viewer, everything is going to become a big fucking mess, because everybody else, aside from him, he had no grievances. He was just trying to keep things together. And like we said last night when we watched the entire series, he's so exhausted from being a king. Like he doesn't even want to be in these rooms, you know? Now you have two people that there's nothing on their mind but vengeance. Nothing, you know? So everyone that's gunning for that throne behind you, it's all about blood. It's all about violence, you know? Like that's all there is starting season 2. So I thought this episode was fucking great. It gave me what I wanted. I didn't think it was going to be like action-packed or spectacle or anything. I knew it was going to be the reactions to what happened. And so it gave me everything I wanted. So I loved it.
There's a lot of closure to season 1. And I appreciate that, you know, like not even closure, but just sort of like, let's revisit this stuff. And
yeah,
like
letting the reactions come out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're left with that big, can we see the dragon chomp? Do you have that queued up?
Wait, you mean this?
Did someone add that in there?
I did. I edited that today.
Had that, you know?
That's the fucking Wilhelm scream, man. The Wilhelm scream.
Oh my god! You know, because
so you give your final thought. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say give your final thoughts, and then I'll jump us into spoilers.
Absolutely. So, you know, end of season 1, you're left with such an action, you know, where it's like straight up the dragon chomp. After it was honestly our first dragon fight, and the thing is that like the dragons they didn't instigate it, you know, but like the dragons, it was a dragon thing. The dragons are obeying their masters, and they
remember when Aegon is talking, or when Aemond is talking to Vhagar, he's telling him no. So Vhagar was doing his own shit.
Yes, and because he's not going to go fuck with another smaller dragon who's like basically on the same team as him. Like dragons don't get it, you know. And so like he sensed that his master is fucking with this other, you know, duo, and you know the humans are focused on the humans, the dragons are focused on the dragons, and he's getting those chomps in, and he's like, yeah, I'm just nipping at you, we're playing. But you know, because he's an older, wiser. Think about a old, mature dog playing with a little puppy. and the old mature dog is kind of batting the little puppy around, but it's just fucking.
And then all of a sudden,
yeah. But then when that little dragon, because like they're trying to get away, and then like when they can't, when it's clear skies and they can't hide in a canyon, that little dragon comes up and blasts the old dragon in the face with its breath, and that just pisses off the old dragon. And the old dragon's like, "What? You're gonna nit me, little? I was just messing with you, chomp." And so it's like the dragons don't instigate it, but they're following the emotion and the instinct of their riders. And the one gets, oh, we're fucking with these guys. And the other one is like, I'm about to die, because they're the younger, untested ones and they just fucking squirt, they're like all their venom in one shot. And so it's a lot of just happenstance, like stuff just kind of going on. And so you're left with, oh geez, I'm so bad with names. So you're left with the mom, Rhaenyra. What's her name again?
Rhaenyra.
Yeah. Sorry. So her reaction is like the closing shot, and then like now, like,
and then they bring that reaction shot back in a similar way where she's like, "Bring me fucking Aemon." Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So now, like you said, we're processing it. We're watching everyone else process it. It's great that they go to the wall and like we start seeing it from the wall, because that's the last place the word is going to get to, and it's like by the speed of the dragon or the raven, that's the fastest messages can get sent. And so like we're finally now seeing the processing part. But I also love that they immediately get into setting up the plot lines for this next season with the like Tweedledee and Tweedledum on the like assassination, like the rat catchers. Like at first I thought rat catcher was like euphemism for like,
no, it's
spies.
They're the
like
dumbest people in all the land are rat catchers.
Yeah, dumb enough to be like, sure, I'll take your gold to kill the baddest motherfucker in the realm who would take me out in a heartbeat.
Sure get in. Well, we got to get into spoilers because they sure get in there. They sure get in that fucking room quick. I'll tell you that. All right, guys.
Quick.
So, Babak, real quick.
How is there no one guarding the entire royal level?
Dude, there was nobody. There was nobody around. Okay, anyway. Like or dislike the episode?
Love it. Love.
All right, so we've now moved into spoiler territory.
You have been warned.
Right up there on the upper right-hand corner of your screen, it says spoilers. So if we spoil something that fucks up your day, fuck you. You've been warned. For anybody that's watching, I don't know, but it's right there, baby.
We're just talking to ourselves, aren't we?
No, there's people watching, but
how many people are watching?
Well, they come in and out. They come in and out.
How many are right now?
I don't know.
2.
5.
Nice. I love all 5.
Oh, now it says 2. Oh shit, yeah. Well, you never know. But what you do is you just keep doing it.
Both of you are amazing, and if you want to say something in the comments, love to hear from you.
No, you know what it is when you do these live shows, like people drop in and out. You just got to get used to it. I try not to even look at it.
I would count that as different viewers.
It might be. You never know.
Yeah. Impressions. Yeah. Anyway.
But now that we moved on to spoilers, so yeah, why don't you take the reins? I want to hear your thoughts on everything that you didn't see coming in this episode. Well, start out with where it starts. I mean, obviously, we already talked about the non-spoiler stuff where it kind of goes where we thought it was going to go. People's reactions to this, not declarations of war, but people thinking like we have to go to war.
They're calling their bannermen.
But I sent you a video text of Queen Alicent being eaten out by
Kristen Cole.
I knew that was him.
The ageless.
I knew that was him way before they showed him. I'm like, of course that's him.
Just like show him like putting one piece of armor back on. That's his trademark.
Dude, he is now
fucking armor.
Well, the armor was a big throwback to how long it took for his goddamn armor to come off. But he has now fucked both of those chicks, both of the queens.
Dude, he is the studliest man in the realm.
He's he's a big stud. He's a big stud.
Kristen Cole. This is why I love the internet, because I actually because I looked up, everyone's names, and I was like, it's not Tristan, because because I'm always making the King Arthur references.
Yeah, Tristan and yeah. Tristan and Lee. Yeah.
Dude, you know, but they didn't actually all make sense because Viserys is such a King Arthur, where like, yeah, he had the battles in his youth, but like he's really trying to keep the realm peaceful, and he's got his Knights of the Round Table, and in the Arthurian tales, Sir Tristan with the T, he's one of the lovers. This Lancelot and Tristan, you know, like they are the hunka. I don't know
Tristan is fucking Lancelot, except now he's not just
not Lancelot.
No, he is not just. No, you're right, but he has not just fucked a princess; he's fucked both queens at this point.
He has.
And he's still alive. He's still
alive. Yeah, because he's got the vows of chastity and the white cloak to prove it.
Well, and he doesn't age. He doesn't age.
He's the ageless. Yeah, those Dornish men, uber dirt. But so you know, the whole thing is that like his name I thought his name was Tristan, which is like the Tristan and Isolde, I think, you know, like the Romeo and Juliet type thing. But then you got Lancelot and Guinevere, and so even though the name sounds like Tristan, he's more of a Lancelot because now he's banging the fucking king's wife. Right?
That's what I was saying. He's like Lancelot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's much more of a Lancelot than a Tristan. This is like Sex in the City, but for guys, you know, like who's Tristan banging now? But yeah, so now he's got both the queens, and I love it how Allison says this can never happen again, right? Right? You've heard that.
Then you see her in the episode. You see her in bed riding his balls. Riding him later.
Her daughter walks in. Oh my god! Like my wife was like, "Isn't that her mom?"
So, okay. So we can
choose the same age, but yeah.
So we can jump all over because I don't think anybody cares. So you were the one that told me that younger daughter was like a future seer or something.
Yeah.
And why do you think she did what she did at the end of this episode? Like she gave up the boy.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, but she must know that there's some reason for it, you know?
Yeah, because she's seen the future or something.
She's seen the future, yeah. Because because Bran, you know, Game of Thrones, Bran, who becomes the king at the very end of it, and he's the little boy that's pushed out of the tower at the very beginning that sets up the whole, you know, everything, right? Like he gets that. I don't know what they call it. It's like the sight. I don't remember what it's called. But basically, when he becomes the three-eyed raven,
the shining. We'll call it the shining.
He gets the shining. You know, where it's like in Dune. It's the whole Dune Messiah thing, where like one dude sees the past, present, and future, and all the possible combinations, and knows that this is the right path, you know, to get to wherever the goal is. And so, basically, because I think it runs in the family of the Valerians, the people like certain, I don't know what it is, you know, because then you got the Starks. He's a Stark. I don't get it. But like,
dude, how cool is it that I texted you? I'm like, the Starks are here. Like they're finally like part of this show.
Dude, fuck yeah, dude. Tickle it off. Boom. But there's
I was so happy. I was so happy to see Corlys back. Like, you know, even using a walker. But
I'm sorry. We heard that he got his throat slit and fell in the ocean, and we assume he's dead. It's been 6 years, and you were the first one to be like, that dude deserves an epic battle death scene. Like,
I knew. Yeah, he died.
Dead. Hopefully, he'll be back in season 2 right away.
You don't kill that kind of character off screen. You just don't.
Off screen,
yeah. So then you see him walking up to the docks, and you're like, oh! When he walks up to the docks, and he he goes straight up to the guy that pulled him out of the water.
Yeah, he's like, I know you were dead. And that dude is not some conniving. He's a lowborn. He's not some highborn, like scheming, conniving Batman. He's like, got it, bro. I'm gonna go back to work. You know, like hell yeah. But
what's up, Bump Master One? What's up?
Yeah, Bump Master One, Tristan Cole. I know.
I don't know if that's how you spell it, but thanks for coming on.
No, yeah, exactly. No, I know what you're doing, bro. But what's it called? Right, it was all a lie. Yeah, Captain Finity. What's up, bro?
What's up, dude?
What's it called? Geez, okay, let's focus on one thing because I'm going to start meandering. So where are we going with this right now?
Okay, so the thing is I do feel a lot of this episode plays out kind of the way people that watched the season finale thought it would. So there's not a lot of spoilers. Like I think everybody knew that that Rhaenyra was going to go after whether it's Aemond or because she did not want to go after Vhagar. That was Daemon. Daemon's like, we got to kill Vhagar. He's like, I'm going to get
anyone who wants to go after Vhagar. Only Daemon.
No, because and I love it how naive he is. He goes, if we bring 2 dragons, we can take down Vhagar.
Totally. Yeah.
What?
Have
you seen this fucking thing?
Yeah, it's the size of the 747.
You think Vhagar? You think 2 dragons can take down this? It's not going to happen. No, so Daemon is obviously insanely just full of rage.
That dude has never given a fuck though. Wait, Daemon, right? Daemon
just wants to kill.
He's never given a fuck. Yeah, he's just like, dude, that guy, like, he's
when he married Rhaenyra,
about consequences. I mean, about consequences.
Consequences. He doesn't care.
He's not the I think things through kind of guy. He is all impulse. He's just like, 2-1, we can do this. Let's go.
Yeah,
he's your drunk friend.
That's why they used him. That's why they brought him in for the crab people in the first season. They're like, we just need a guy that just fucking goes in there and fucking kills the main guy.
Like, you guys want to go in? No. You want to go in? No. But you know what, Daemon, that motherfucker, he's down.
So I think that was pretty much what I thought he was gonna do. Rhaenyra's, I pretty much figured that she just is gonna put a mark right on Daemon's head. Or I'm not saying. I'm sorry. On Aemon's head. Sorry. And the only thing that really shocked me about the first half of this episode was like Alicent just getting mowed by Kristen Cole or whatever the fuck. Like that was kind of strange. But I think the episode he
was so wet for him before when he was just like,
well, she's the one that kept him from killing
me
himself
and torturing me. Plus, give me a clean death. I besmirched.
Remember, he was going to kill himself.
Exactly.
With a fucking knife, and she's like, "No, I
can use you." So, like, you are my guy right there. Like, she's been cleaning that dude for a while.
But I think that when it gets to that point where like Daemon just goes right up to the guard, or just goes right up to King's Landing, he's like, and he's acting just like a peasant or whatever, and you're like, oh shit. He's going to do something that's going to fucking change the course of everything that happens. And he does. And we'll say it because we're in spoilers. He pays 2 lugheads to kill the youngest boy, a baby, basically.
No. Absolutely. No, that is not what he paid them to do.
Oh,
he was
sorry.
He was very specific. And the whole thing was like,
firstborn. They were so stupid that they,
No. These guys just couldn't do the job, so Daemon goes in and he's like, I know that there's dudes here who do not actually like the queen and all that, right? And so he just bribes his way in. And so he finds this dude and he was like, I want
the rat catchers.
Aemon Targaryen. He names him, right? He says him by name.
And he says firstborn son, and they're so dumb. Keep going.
But he goes beyond that. He's like, Aemon Targaryen. And everyone's like, yeah, right. Because he's already talking about how badass he is. And like, maybe you two might take him, like, why are you only sending 2 dudes in? Like, come on. And who never met each other before. Anyway, so he's like, says him by name. And then he goes, he's hard to miss. He's got silver hair and 1 eye. And they all just kind of like, dude, we know who the guy is. So at that point, Tweedledee and Tweedledum know exactly who they're contracted to kill. And so then they go in and they can't find the guy because he's not in the room where he just was.
One of them grabs the future seer.
They find the queen. They find the queen and they got and they're like, this is basically what we can do right now. And so they're like, "Oh, the queen did say that she wants a son."
See, I didn't even.
I'm like,
realize
who told them that? Who told them that? Like, they never established that. That's like,
no, that's why I misunderstood that scene because I thought they were just so dopey that they're like, we have to kill the firstborn, which is not the youngest kid; it's the oldest kid. But I just thought they were so dumb.
And they understood it. However, there was the one thing where the rat catcher was like, "Well, what if we can't find him?" Like he asked that, and Daemon was What did Damon say? No, they just cut away. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you know what? So maybe Damon did say that shit to him on the off screen because they asked him, "What if we can't find him?" They said, "Look, what if we can't find him?" The rat catcher said that, and then Damon gives us like, "Look," and then so maybe actually they're not Tweedledee and Tweedledum. We haven't been told.
They're pretty dumb.
No, they are pretty dumb. But we actually just haven't been told, because how else would they know that the queen said, "I want a son for a son," you know? So now maybe Damon is the instigator, which we know he is, and it'll be revealed a couple, and they'll probably reveal it in a couple episodes from now.
Well, they're gonna think he wanted them to kill like the baby or whatever.
But he probably told them. But he probably told them Plan B. This is just as good.
Maybe. I just took it like the conversation between
those dudes were clear. Those dudes were clear on who their target was.
Okay, but the conversation they had when the one guy just put the knife up to the fortune teller daughter or whatever.
She's the queen. You can call her the queen. The queen.
Yeah,
sister,
no, and I'm sorry, the queen. But he said like, who's the firstborn son? The boy.
Yeah,
but firstborn son means the oldest kid, you know. But but
it does. It actually does. Yeah, you know what? Maybe they are just dumb.
But I think I took it as like they didn't understand what firstborn meant, and they're just like, oh, I guess that means the youngest. Like, but okay, say that I'm wrong, regardless. But what I want to ask you
we'll find out. You know, we'll find out.
No, but I want to ask you about like the queen, the fortune teller queen, like.
I'm gonna try to see her name. What's her name again?
I didn't learn her name. I know all the other characters, but I haven't learned her name.
She's Helena Targaryen.
Well, that's an easy name. Yeah, I should have just learned it.
Yeah, but they spell it all. They spell it all like Swedish.
But she kind of pulls. She seems like she pulls a Doctor Strange, where she's like, you know, spare Tony Stark's life and I'll give you the stone, and then all these people will die, because he saw that there was one future.
Hold up. Is that what she said in this episode when she was whispering to herself?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know what she was saying, but she starts crying and she points to the boy.
Oh, at that point,
you're like going, wait a minute, why is she doing that? And it was so that whole scene is so gross, where the guy's like, did you look for cocks? Did you look for cocks?
Which one's the girl? Because they dress the boys as girls. They all have long hair.
Yeah, they all look the same, dude. They all look the same.
They all look the same. Yeah, like check for a cock. And like, but dude, that fucking rat catcher was in over his head. That dude was like at first he's like, I'm doing this. Then he goes, I'm doing this? Like, don't want to be that.
Ding dong! Ding dong!
Look for cocks.
Is that Tom Green?
Yeah.
God, that guy, he's gross, dude. He's got no limit. That dude, oh my god. All right. Anyway. But yeah, so again,
my question is to you is like, why do you think she pointed to the boy? Because she was obviously devastated, just being
a seer. Yeah, and
I think she sees a future where that has to happen or something, right?
Exactly. She understands. And this, honestly, like, okay, I'm gonna just go on a tangent. Dune versus Game of Thrones. The way the seers, who or whatever we call them, who can see past, present, and future, are different. Is that in Game of Thrones, there's this whole predestination thing, where like there's only one path. So far as everything I've seen, they don't talk about alternatives. It's just like, this is what's going to happen. And but in Dune, there's no predestination or whatever. You know, like I'm gonna talk like Calvinist and Lutheran and like Catholic or whatever, you know, like theology. And so it's kind of this thing where like, is there self-determination? Is there free will? Or is there some fate that's already been pre-planned? And so Game of Thrones is a lot more like the timeline is set. No one ultimately has a choice because there's only one possible pathway, unless I'm reading it wrong. Versus like Dune, where they're just looking at multiple dimensions and like, oh, which way could we go? If we go this way, this will happen. If we go that way, that'll happen. And this is the best way for my people and my interests, you know? And so it's like, it seems like this is a very fatalistic, you know, just J.R.R. Martin in his writing. I don't know. I've never read any of the books, but just from what I've seen of the two show, Game of Thrones and House of Dragons.
This is this is based on a book. What? I did not
an
know
appendix. An appendix to what is it?
No, I've gone cross-eyed.
But yeah, so it's like there's only one path, and so that would say that in that moment, Helena knows she ultimately has no choice because she never shows any emotion. That's why everyone thinks that she's like a, what do we say, is an artard? Like what's the today? She's special needs.
Well, we called her a Targaryen.
She's a Targaryen. Yeah, because they're so inbred. They're all Targaryens. I don't know if that's like the scientific term,
I don't think so.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, but so like everyone thinks that she's like touched in the head because she actually sees past, present, and future. And so whenever she's muttering to herself, like when something happens, someone will someone's like, oh, so-and-so is going to go get the dragon. And she's like, yeah, but he'll going to lose an eye, And so you're like, oh, so anytime she's whispering to herself, you have to listen because all she's doing is just giving you clues. And, it's not that she's speaking in tongues, but like she is simple, but anyway, showed no emotion, knife to her throat, cutting into her throat by the rat catcher. She's got her two children in their cradles. And the big burly assassin is like, well, which one do we kill? And like, we want the boy. So she knows exactly what they're about. And then she's like, that's the boy. And then she goes, grabs the girl, and they just walk away. And she just goes and, runs in on her mom, banging the fucking commander of the Night's Watch.
The Night's Guard.
You do. Yeah, the Night's Guard. Thank you. And, but basically she showed like no emotion. And I get it because in that situation, I probably would be the same.
But she had emotion. She had emotion when her finger was shaking and she had tears going down her eyes.
I know. I agree.
Something there
compared to everyone else who's reacting to their children.
She pulled the Doctor Strange. She's like, "This is the only way."
Yeah, this is the only way, And so, like, even though she was like, "This is the son, and you're gonna kill him," she already knew that. It's not a surprise to her.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, she saw it.
This is what's happening at this moment.
That's what she was whispering to herself. Yeah.
Yeah, but she knows. If she's a seer, she already knows. And so it's not a surprise. She understands this is what's going to happen. She's had time to deal with it. And she knows kind of what she's going to do, even though, she walks around and then she just walks right. Because the only people on the royal level of the castle are the mom and the daughter. And there's no one else there, including guards of any sort, because they only let in servants and rat catchers. Like, I'm sorry, if you're going to let servants and rat catchers in, I would have guards posted, like, eyeballing each other, dude, because I don't trust
anyone. That fucking castle. Hi, Cookie. That castle was fucking empty. When she runs down the stairs and when she grabs the sister and runs around, you're like, where the fuck is everybody? Nobody anywhere.
Like, okay, maybe on the inner bedchamber, I'm not gonna have a fucking guy with a sword, standing at the foot of my bed while I sleep. That's not gonna comfort me. But outside the door, in the common areas, like on the hallways and the passageways, fuck yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? Like, not in my room, but just outside my door, and you stand there and make sure no one gets in. Yes, absolutely. Like, where are their guards? I'm sorry, just because the Knights commander, what's his name? The commander of the Knights Watch is like banging the queen.
Kristen Cole.
Kristen Cole.
If you guys are just watching, Kristen Cole's dude. He's pulled a hat trick at this point.
He pretty well. No, that's three, dude. Who's the third? Because this is the second girl he's banging. He's got a great track record so far.
But if you guys are just watching, we're talking about the ending where, it goes pretty hardcore, and like I'd heard that something significant happened in this episode, and you're kind of waiting for it to happen. And when it does, I love that they showed restraint and they did not show a young boy being mutilated in his bed, but
like killed
it's
him
just
behind
as
him.
bad, Babak, with the sound
Sound
design.
effects.
They're cutting
Dude,
his
you
head
can hear
off,
all
and
of
he's
it.
like,
They're cutting his head off. Yeah, so they describe it and they do it, but it's just sound effects. And oh my goodness, but sometimes I appreciate that.
no, me too. Captain Not Finity says Martin doesn't write endings. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess he hasn't written an ending to his main thing, but this one was like an appendice or something like that, right? It was like 50-page
I feel like
like
you were
vignettes.
saying, like, yeah, something.
Yeah, it's not the House of the Dragon. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Captain Finney, but I don't think it's based off of novels. It's based off like 50-page like history books, and there's like 3 of them or 3 or 4 of them or whatever. So they have a beginning, middle, and end where they know where it's going, but they have a lot of room to play with as far as like how the characters are and what happens to get there. So, which I think is great. It's interesting, but Babak, let's shift over real quick because I really want to talk about. Bring Lily back on.
Oh, she's
We
bad.
want Lily. Yeah.
More Lily. Well, we have like 4 viewers at that point, dude.
I really want to talk about Aemond and Aegon. So I gotta say, Aegon, he really starts out. Well, obviously, he's just a typical arrogant prick. And
Yeah,
they
right.
show.
Yeah.
Remember, you and I last night we watched an episode with that dickhead fucking guy from Game of Thrones that gets murdered.
Ramsey.
No,
Joffrey.
Yeah. So I never watched Game of Thrones for people that
first
didn't
of
know.
his name.
So you have this Aegon guy who, like, I gotta say though, for some reason, as much as he's like a douche at the beginning, when he sits down and lets the folks, when he lets the folks of King Landing like read their petitions,
dude's throwing out his whole life.
No, that scene surprised me where he's like, you know what? You're right. We're going to pay you guys ahead of time because it's you guys that keep the war. I was like, wait a minute. Is he full of shit?
That's the one time he made sense. He did make sense right there, dude.
Well, then, and you see fucking Otto Hightower just sitting there like biting his goddamn nails the whole time because for some reason he's still a fucking king's hand, and they even say like you've been the king's hand of 3 different kings. How's that all turned out? He doesn't get
fired. He takes a vacation.
Yeah,
he's just I'm sorry. Let me try that again. He doesn't get fired. He just works from home.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all.
But I was kind of like as big of a dick as he's acting in most of that episode when he hears out the petitions of the King's Landing folk. I was like, wow, okay, well, what is this all about? Does he not know what he's doing? He doesn't want to say no.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's brown out. He's just party dude. He's like, fuck yeah, bro. Like, yeah, sorry to fuck you over, bro. I got you drinks tonight. Like that's the mode he's in. And what is he, like 20? I mean, I think that's the young king. That is probably extremely historically accurate. And then he's got the one
that was jerking off on top of
onto the people. Yes. Yeah, fuck the people. That's what he gets up. He gets up in the morning. He's like, fuck the people. All of them at once. Yeah.
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face.
That's what it is to be highborn, right? I mean, you gotta lean into it. But he's growing out with his buddies, like on the Iron Throne. I hope none of them prick their finger on the contaminated.
All they gotta do is dust that thing off. They just gotta dust that thing off.
Dude, yeah, late Byzantines, housekeeping, please. Do more than change the sheets, thank you.
What do you think about that scene where Alicent just still believes that no price was paid for Aemon's eye? And she's like, you know what? She goes like, no. That's the thing. She's like, you know what? It sucks that that the young prince died, but we had never gotten any like
retribution. Yeah, we didn't get anything back for the eye.
And she's actually she shows no remorse.
She's still the evil queen. No, she's still the evil queen.
She is. She is. Yeah.
Let me just say this: the brilliance of actual writing of a novel is that this is a fully fleshed character. She is the evil queen, and yet You
She doesn't
understand.
think she is. Yeah.
She doesn't think she is. And neither, like, I think that, like, most people wouldn't be like, she's not Maleficent, or, you know, she's not the wicked stepmother or the wicked witch, you know, like, because in her mind, she's been wronged. In her mind, her husband gave her this, you know, the throne as his dying word, you know, like, she doesn't understand that she's wrong. You know, you still have
But
in
she's
her
so,
mind.
she's so forceful and like aggressive as somebody that came from like nothing that all of a sudden became the queen would probably
She
be
came
like.
from something to fucking something.
Well, she's a high tower. She's a high
Started in the middle, now we're up.
tower.
Well, we live in a post-cocaine bear world now. You know what I mean?
I love you, Ben.
She's from a noble house, you know. It's not nothing, but yeah.
Well, dude, and Jesus, talk about another actor that's not aging. Like Otto Hightower looked old in the beginning of season 1, and he looks exactly the same. He's like fucking Steve Martin. He always looks.
Martin. Yeah,
he always looks 60.
Or an Anderson Cooper. Like, fuck you and your perfect silver hair. But
sorry.
You saved all of these a long time ago, right?
Oh no, I have an arsenal.
A library. No, that's awesome. I love it. But so anyway, you know, watching all of this shit unraveling and knowing that right now, not only are we seeing sort of like wrapping up some of the previous storylines, but also the establishment of all of the great new plot lines. Like now there's a whole new set of wrongs that have to be righted. You know, like cut your baby's head off in its crib. Like who's going to be against you?
And that's the thing. Like Damon didn't order that. Damon didn't order that.
Or
he did not order that.
Dun, dun.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
He didn't order it on screen, but possibly they didn't show that part yet.
I think those two idiots just didn't understand that the youngest boy is not the firstborn son.
No, absolutely. No. I think that there's a chance. And here's the thing. They're leaving it open. And that's what I love about this, because like when you and I were watching the whole season 1, there were so many plot lines that like we already knew the resolution of. Will they, won't they? We already knew when they will and what they will, you know, or won't. And so like with this, we don't know. And that's what I love about this format, where you got to wait and you got to be there. It's must-see TV. It's not like, here, we're going to drop the season on, you know, whatever streaming site and hope you give us some views and likes.
I'm so glad they don't do that with this show, because every episode is so well crafted, so well made. It doesn't deserve that.
You have to digest it.
Yeah, and it does not even just the storytelling, but it's just every episode's so detailed. Like you need to watch it as an hour and 10, because this one was like an hour and 10 or something. And you need to just watch it and just see how like well constructed it is, from the shooting to the editing to the acting to the sound, to the music.
Absolutely.
Like instead of just like click next on the next one, I guess we're moving on. Instead, you're gonna think about it.
I'm rewatching it right now. That's what I'm about to do.
Yeah, you're gonna think about it for a while, you know.
You have to. And
the Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king.
Oh God, this scene right here, man, where you see that wall, the snow wall, or dude, because I didn't even watch Game of Thrones, but I know what it is, you know.
But the cool thing about those shots right there, the whole like the seers that, or whatever they're called, that can like they know the future, or like the Targaryen royal line, where like if you understand that there will be a song of fire and ice, then you are the true heir, you know, like that type of thing. All of this and the dagger that they kept showing the whole first season, all these things are just letting you know about the central plot line of A Song of Fire and Ice, the Game of Thrones that everyone knows, that made this great.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
This is a prequel, absolutely. And
Well,
so,
I got a
like,
nice history lesson with you and Josh last night, rewatching House of Dragon because I didn't watch Game of Thrones, and you guys just picked up on so many things, that I didn't even know were there. As a casual viewer of just this show, I take it at face value, so I don't pick up on those things, but I still fucking love it,
and that's why you got to kind of talk about it, watch it again, because that's one of the hallmarks of shows like this, where there's so many scenes where it's a plot line. There's so many plots, so many stories. They're all interwoven. Some of them get more or less like screen time or page time. And so, like, there might be a 30-second thing in episode 1, a 2-minute thing in episode 3, 7-minute thing somewhere else, and like 5, whatever. And so those stories are all broken up and told separately. And so, like, there are a lot of things that we've already seen right now that are going to be part of like a side character's arc, and that's really part of the craft of writing, and which is why you got to get these like from the best written novels, series, whatever, into really well made TV and hopefully movies. Like, could you imagine a Game of Thrones movie?
Well, that's the thing for someone that like personally, I've written a novel. I mean, it didn't end up being something that people really liked, but I wrote it. And then I've written screenplays. And I've never been able to comprehend how you write television, because episodic stories, to me, I don't think I could ever do that. It's just so hard, like, because you can't just like build an outline for an entire show, a series, and be like, here's what every episode's going to be. You have to have filler and you have to have subplots and all this kind of stuff. And I appreciate anybody that can write like a series where everything's so detailed like this,
No, I agree. And it's amazing because most things are just like, it's hard to watch. But anyway, Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, the House of the Dragons. But whatever. House of the Dragons.
Oh, hang on, dude. This is her. The whole episode. That's her. She's just fucking so pissed off.
Fuming, but I'm
dude. By the way, I love
peaceful dad.
I love that little
I'm
moment.
not going to start shit. I just want.
I love that little moment with her and her dragon, where the dragon brings in the leftovers of the sun from the ocean. You remember that part, right? Like, he drops it off.
Yeah.
But
so,
like,
okay.
she's sitting there crying, and the dragon's consoling her. It's so
absolutely
cool.
Yeah. And that begins the emotional, like the whole thing of that, because you got to think about music and emotion as the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's
I do.
Context to acting. Absolutely. And so what you were just talking about, where the dragon is like trying to like is just emoting with Rhaenyra when she finds the evidence, the physical evidence of her child, who she sent off with the best of intentions, told him to be messenger, and that's what he said, I'm going to do. And then boys with boys, dragons with dragons.
Yeah, and nobody 100% believed it until that happened. Yeah.
And that's when she's like, oh my God, starts the actual emotional grieving process. And the part where like my wife was like, is everything okay? Because I'm sitting on the couch crying, was where like right after that, straight up right after that, where her older son returns from his flight and he's like, okay, Queen, here's my official report. This, house has done this, that house has done that. And he just starts to break down, and she just breaks down, and they just like cry together. And I was like, oh my God. And then they, and that's when my wife walks in. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, this is so good. I was like,
dude,
this
oh my God,
is so good.
That funeral scene with the fire, and like you have the Valerian daughters there crying.
And here's the thing: they're all giving their little tokens into the fire, right?
Yeah.
And this is part of their cultural funeral thing, like emotional catharsis. What is Alicent doing at that time? Because now she's part of this new religion.
She's riding that guy's dick.
Yes, and he had just finished riding that guy's dick and went over to her little altar to pray. And she's lighting, because you and I were like, how the fuck do they light a million candles?
All these fucking candles everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, like as like set designers or even as real people who actually had to light the fucking candles, you know? And she's taking a taper, and for each candle that she's lighting, she's saying a prayer for a person who she loves who has died. And they show her name 2 people. And they
yeah, I do like that scene where she's got the little she's got the little stick, matchstick, and she's like, yeah.
She names her father. Oh no, I'm sorry, not her father. Her father's friend, her husband, right? She goes, Viserys Targaryen, and then the second person that she names, unless I'm wrong, is the younger son who has just been eaten by the dragon. And she names him, and they weave that into the funeral where all of I totally forget all their names. He's the little boy that got chomped by the dragon, right? And so all of his cousins and siblings and parents, they're taking his personal items and putting them in the flame, and they're showing that they love him that way. And she lights the candle. She names her dead husband, and she names the boy who's just killed by her son.
No, you're right. She did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah. And so she's like, this is a child who I loved, and I don't want my kid to do that to him. And I'm, like, I don't like this. And when her dad is like, yeah, we got to get into this, and everyone else is like, we got into this, she's still kind of, she's like, I still kind of feel love for these people, She's
and
like,
so I did not mean for this to happen.
But everybody wanted it. But that's the great thing about real writing, is that these are real people. And like Hitler was a vegetarian who loved his dog and never cheated on his wife, like real people do evil shit, and so it's like, she's a real person, and she is the villain. She's the antagonist. She's wrong, and she's gonna die, and everyone's gonna be really happy. But
again, like you and I,
she's still a real person.
You and I and Josh all agreed, like, as we're watching this, like, we're in season 1, when we're watching this happen in the second half, we're like, all of these like women seeking power are seeking it because once they don't have the power, someone will just kill them. Yeah. Right? So you don't really blame them. It's the way that they react to what's going on that makes them good or bad. Because no one's good on this show. No one's good. Yeah. No one's good. Yeah. Everyone's like, I really like you, so I'm not going to kill you. I'll kill a random person and make them think it's you. Even
so
dude,
you
how about that
happy life?
How about that line where? How about that line where Damon is like, where is the queen? And it's like, well, she's grieving. Well, she's been gone for 2 days. Yeah, but she's grieving. Yeah, but she's been gone from the fucking throne.
Yeah,
like,
from the fight for 2 days.
Yeah, he's just like, I guess I'll take control. Like, and that's why he did what he did, because she wasn't there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she was out trying to like be a detective and like figure shit out, and he was like, oh, no one's telling me no. Cool.
Well, and like you said, he's impulsive by nature. He doesn't have a strategy, which makes him so dangerous.
He is,
he's smart. He's not stupid. He's smart, but he's so
you're
fucking.
Right. He doesn't have a strategy, and that's why
he never does.
I love that Daemon Targaryen is on one side, and his younger generation, basically carbon copy, Aemon Targaryen, is on the other side, because now they're evenly matched. The dragons are like, one's more badass, but like they're the same personality in 2 different bodies on both sides of this conflict. And you need that wild card. Like you need that dude who's just to be like, what the fuck is this guy gonna do? Like in a situation like that.
Well, then you have to remember too, like the season's gonna shift because Queen, I guess, Rhaenyra, if you remember from the 3rd episode of season 1, when she's still like the little chipmunk girl, like the cute little girl before she changes, she's the one that goes. She's the one that takes the dragon right to that. Something. She's the one that takes the dragon right to that wall and demands that egg back, and she gets that fucking egg back.
Rhaenyra is a badass.
She's a badass. She has a plan.
Badass.
She has a strategy.
And I think that I never read the books, but I think the Targaryens are the ones in charge. So, like, she's going to win, you know? And it makes sense because she is just as patient and forgiving and peaceful as her dad, Viserys, right? Viserys Targaryen?
Viserys, yeah.
But at the same time, she's like an Arya Stark, where she doesn't give a fuck. Like, she's the little girl that would just come up to you in your face and just be like, what? You know? And that's the scene that you're talking about on the bridge there, where basically Otto and his entire hand-selected entourage are about to get
massacred. Dude.
They're about to be massacred, you know? Otto apparently forgot his armor and weapons before going to say hi to friggin' what's his name? Daemon.
No, he goes. He goes right up to Daemon. And he's like, "Your Grace, you should not go. I'll go in your stead." And it's like, dude, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Dude, if you go in instead because you're afraid for his life,
and that's Daemon's like taking the egg and fucking. Daemon's taking the egg and like dribbling it and shit.
Daemon should have been like dribbling it through his legs. You know, just one of those.
And then there comes Rhaenyra. Like Rhaenyra just is like, I know
she's
exactly
like,
what
Uncle,
to
if
do.
you want to kill me, if you want to, I'm here. Like she just cuts through all his bullshit, walks up to him, is like, "Are you really gonna kill me and take my birthright?" And he's like,
"There's
fuck
this
you,
thing
here's
about
your egg, little bitch."
Well, there's this thing about those two where they're the only two that like speak Valyrian to each other for some reason on the show. And that's what they're speaking, right?
Family thing. It's the family thing. They're speaking.
Yeah, but they're the only two. Remember, we watched every episode last night. They're the only two that ever speak it to each other in all 10 episodes.
They do, and the dragon keepers only speak Valyrian, high Valyrian. You know, like, I don't know what they're called, but like the dudes who handle the dragons, those guys only speak Valyrian. They only speak Valyrian to the dragons because that's the only language the dragons understand. And
you don't see a lot of that in this show. You don't see a lot of that.
They had like a couple episodes, you know, where the kids were down in the crypt. But also, whenever the dragon keepers, like when Aemon took that egg from the clutch, and he was so happy to give it to the dragon keepers, there's no dragons there. They only speak High Valyrian. Like, it must be some kind of religious cult as well as dragon handling. I don't know what it is, or maybe just like some like we are the old school motherfuckers. But they only speak High Valyrian, and it's this thing about that family. They're Valyrian because the Valyrians, they come from the continent of Valyria. And that's the whole thing with the seers and Aemon the Conqueror.
Right.
He had a vision, he had a dream. And then also, what's his name? I'm always going to get it wrong. Viserys, right?
King.
Exactly. Viserys, what's his moniker? Like Peaceful or something like that? But, Viserys also has his own dream. And he talks about it with his daughter, Rhaenyra, the same way that, like, when Aemon, he had a freaking dream. You know, like, you wake up, you have dreams, you talk about them. And so it's like this family, when they have a dream, they can just sort of see the past, present, and future in their dreams, right? And then they'll wake up and they'll talk about it. That's why the one character, Helena, she can actually talk about those visions when she's awake, but everyone thinks she's like this imbecile, you know, just like
she is definitely going to be a way bigger part in this season. You can just tell already. Yeah, way bigger. Yeah. She's just in the background. She's in the background so much in season 1 that you had to remind me that there was this other daughter that, like, I completely forgot about that because she's just not that.
Everyone in that world has also forgot about her.
Yeah,
you know,
she's just like, she doesn't do much. She's not important. You're just like, who is this person talking to themselves?
Exactly. That's all you get. You know, but like, she's actually one of the I'm going to keep calling them the seers because I know what they're called. You know, who you got to pay attention to her. And so whenever she speaks, that's why. Here's what pissed me off, dude. When I was watching this first episode, as soon as they show her, she's doing they're doing the knitting or whatever, the women up in the keep and they're knitting and stuff, and like, she's just muttering to herself, and it was so quiet that even when I put on the HBO subtitles,
you can't hear what she says.
You couldn't hear what she says. So I turned my volume up to like 50, I fucking blasted out the sound, and still I got like 2 words out of it. You know?
Remember, we tried to do that last night when she talked. Where like we kept rewinding, going back, rewinding, like, and we just couldn't hear what the fuck she was saying.
Yeah,
I don't think
sometimes,
you're
you know?
supposed to know. I don't think you're
Yeah,
supposed to know.
but she's one of those people where, like, when she speaks, you better listen to what she's saying because she's muttering to herself. She's like one of those oracles of Delphi. You know, they're just muttering to themselves and speaking tongues, but they
now
understand what's going on.
just gave up. Now she just gave up the boy. So
Yeah, she did.
She's gonna
So
have
it's
to.
significant. You know, it's going to go somewhere amazing. I can't wait to see all of the plot lines twisting and turning, and like,
Well,
the
yeah,
and which ones are going to pan out and which won't. You know, it's going to be an amazing.
We'll wrap up this first episode, but like, I gotta say, Babak, like this one, like, I've read some criticism that like, oh, not a lot happens. I completely disagree because it depends on what you think is supposed to be happening.
Not a lot of action.
No, well, no, but the show is not built on
higher storyline. No, it's
the show is not built on action. You know,
it's a soap opera for dudes. It's just to say it.
But there's all the threads in this one worked so well for me because the first half is like you're wrapping up like reactions and stuff from what happens in the season finale of season 1, and then the second half is like you're just building. This is going to be this like slow burn in this season where it just becomes an all-out war with dragons. I think that's my theory. You know, I have nothing to base that on.
This is true or not? But I think I heard that they're actually not doing the big battle until the next season. You know, which makes sense.
Well, who knows? Who knows? I'm sure there'll be some battles.
They'll have some action. They'll definitely have some action, but I don't know if they're going to have like decisive. You know, the big thing we're looking for, like Battle of the Bastards or something like.
Well, see, I don't even have anything to base that off on because I didn't watch Game of Thrones. So I'm more impressed by just watching good writing and good characters and things happening.
No, that's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. Good writing, good characters, and incredible execution. So much attention to detail, costume, set design, casting, acting, directing, editing. It's just such top of the game.
So instead of saying everything I thought about episode 1, I'm going to leave you guys with this, and then we'll let Babak go. But for me, episode 1 was... Oh,
shit! Fuck yeah, bro. Episode 1 is amazing. I mean, I love it because this is storytelling and craft, and you're seeing all of the big structure, the strategery of it all, getting all set up. Like the major instigating events have happened, and now we're going to start seeing the fallout. It's going to go through the entire season, and I'm definitely looking forward to not only this one, but hopefully the second and maybe other stories. They don't have to be the same story, but this is so well crafted in general, and I just love Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. Can't wait for more.
Yeah, and you know, right now, 5 people watching. I know we had 7 earlier.
Hey,
whoever's
cheers!
Watching, yeah,
put them up, guys. Put them up. Yeah, we drink our cinema.
We drink our cinema. Thank you guys so much for watching. Whoever's there, I hope this series grows with not just House of the Dragon, but with me and Babak talking about it every week. Next week, we're going to be not doing it on Sunday night. We're going to wait a couple of days, and then we'll be back and we'll talk about it. Hopefully after more people have actually seen it. And then we would love the comments down in the comment section below and more interesting perspectives because next week is going to fly. I just know it by the way this one ended, dude. There's going to be some fucking crazy shit happening. But thanks everyone for watching, man. And House Off the Wagon. Tell your friends. Subscribe to Cinema Gulp. Babak, you're the best. And yeah, everybody, we drink your cinema, motherfuckers. All right, we're off.